Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
And welcome back. I got three great gentlemen. Let's go ahead and introduce them real quick. It's Dynasty PPR, just pay dirt profile. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to grind out episode 2. Hopefully it doesn't take 2 to 3 hours. But whatever we got going on, excited for.
Yeah, I'm hoping it takes under 2 hours at least. And we got a new guy, TylerFF. I'm pretty sure you guys know him on Twitter. He's pretty popular. How you doing, Tyler?
Hey, doing good. Glad to be here and excited to break down some of these teams. Unfortunately, we got to my team last week, so make sure to check that out too.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, I have faith that you make a lot of moves, man. You're a smart man, so
appreciate it.
Yeah, and Chris, how you doing, man?
All good, man. Thanks. Happy to be here. Excited to check all these teams now.
Glad to have you back too, Dante and Chris. Thanks for hanging out for two podcasts. That's awesome, man. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
And for doing that, we're just gonna start out with the good stuff. We're gonna start out with the good stuff. You know, we got two guys here on the screen that are pretty confident in their team, I would say. And of course, if I had their team, I'd be pretty confident too. So we got Dante's team right here. We're pulling them up. The Tennessee, what is it?
Little Giants.
The Little Giant. Wow, he went from the New York Giant to the Little Giant. He went old school. You love that movie or what? Do you like that little movie, Little Giant?
I dabbled in it a little bit when I was a kid. I probably haven't seen it in like 20 years. Before the season, I probably need to try it again. So I can.
You're not doing those sports? Let's jump into this team. This guy made some good moves. I remember you made some good trades, right? You made a couple of trades on this team. And
yeah, one mostly. I started the team out. I had Aaron Jones and I had T.Y. Hilton in the starting lineup. It was an auto pick. He was in my queue as players, but I kind of didn't move people around, and then I was doing something and got auto picked. So he was starting for me before, and then made a move sending away Aaron Jones for Josh Jacobs and Kenny Golladay.
Ooh, and that's very impressive because I got that trade offer too for J.K. Dobbins, and I said no. But I believe the trade you made makes more sense for your team because depth wins in this league. I don't know what your girlfriend and wife tell you at home, but depth wins in this league, gentlemen. So, yeah, Josh Jacobs, Kenny Golladay, Devontae Adams, probably the best wide receiver in Dynasty right now until Aaron Rodgers leaves and he comes to my Raiders. I can't wait for that. Travis Kelce, James, holy shit. Travis Kelce, I mean, that's the tight end of all tight end that you want in this league, a tight end premium league. I mean, he's basically probably on a week-to-week basis, at least a top 5 scorer, you know, if he in the flex spot or as a running back, wide receiver, tight end. James Conner, if he gets that workload, which I like James Conner more than Chase Edmonds, I'm on that side. I can't say this name. Hold on. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a very impressive rookie already in training camp. And the GOAT, Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady. Yes, I'm a Raiders fan, and I love Tom Brady. Don't hate, appreciate greatness. Let's check out your defense. Melvin Ingram, Jamie Collins, Eddie Jackson, I believe, Anthony Barr, Shaq Thompson, and Mika Kaiser. That is a solid defense. All starting players, all, you know, very productive players probably. And in this kind of type of league, you just want your IDP to produce. I mean, you want the elite of the elite, but you're not going to get that in a 32-team league. And then your bench is Tyler Hickey, Dwayne Haskins,
Stevie Scott. He just got cut. I'm
yeah.
trying to see if he latches on somewhere, but that's probably going to be a waiver wire pickup for somebody else here shortly.
In this league, half of our players are cut. So
yeah.
T.Y. Hilton, is it Michael? It's Mike Strachan. Kyle Van Noy, wow, you actually have depth. And then Diablo Raiders defensive back, and Kisco. In my opinion, I love your team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a championship contending team. I can't see you losing more than 2 or 3 games. And to be honest, you have depth too. So somehow you gathered some depth on the defense, and you can even make trade if you wanted to. You could trade Kelsey or Adam to get more depth. So I love this team. It has a 2 or 3 year championship contending window, you know. But that's my opinion. What is your opinion, Dante, on your team? Obviously, we know you love them, right?
Yeah, but I'm more fond of it than some of the others because it's a win now team. A lot of times people jump into dynasty leagues and they're going to prioritize youth, and rightfully so. But the whole goal is to win the league and win the league as many times as you can. And youth gives you the opportunity because it extends your longevity. But if your youth isn't ready to play right now, that means you're giving up the league in those early years. So I would rather take a roster of 27-year-olds is basically my average age. If you take away Tom Brady's 43-year-old price tag,
100-year-old.
But it's roughly 26 to 28. So like you said, about 2 years. Making that move for Jacobs and Golladay was one, like you said, for depth. And during the draft, I traded down a lot. I remember you making a couple of jokes here and there, but like, all right, Dante, are you ever going to pick? And it's like, because I would trade down to those 32 spots, I would trade down a round, and then it would come to my team again, and I would trade down again. It was just because I was gathering more and more assets for rounds that made sense for me. When people were going after the Devin Whites of the world in the 4th round, I was trading back and getting guys like Shaq Thompson a little bit later, Kyle Van Noy a little bit later, guys that might score you, 3, 4 fewer points per game, but I'm going to pick up, 2 or 3 of those guys instead of just the one that you got. Okay. So that was kind of my goal. Like you mentioned, most of my guys are a little bit on the older side, but I mean, if I can get in the money, I can win this year or next year. I have no problem kind of pivoting and starting to move some assets and gear up for the future. So I'm really excited about the league. I'm really excited about my team. People are not ultra thrilled with Kenny Golladay. I've tried to move him a little bit, but people are not biting. So I'll just take him there and pray Daniel Jones doesn't throw the ball into the ground.
Yeah, that's tough. Tyler, what do you think of this team?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a really good win now team. If you just look at like the starting offense too, like that could be a 12-man league right there. Like that could be a team in a 12-man league. Maybe it's probably not the greatest team, but it could still pass, and that's impressive in a 32-man league. So I just wanted to point that out. But I think you're really set up to win now. Your future as the team is constructed right now, of course you can move pieces, but your future is kind of tied to like when does Tom Brady retire? As long as you got that starting quarterback, you're pretty set, I would say, and you're probably in the money for the next couple of years. And then the depth too, you got T.Y. Hilton sitting on your bench, and he's solid. He's going to put up points, and that's something good to have. And same thing with the defense. I like that your IDP is filled with linebackers, the flex position. That's going to get you a bunch of points. And they're older guys, but they're all guys that are going to produce right away, and they're going to be putting up good numbers. They kind of got faded because, like you said, they're in the like 26 to 28 range there. So I like it a lot. I think you're in a really good spot.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That's a good point. I mean, his defense might be old. Tom Brady. Only person that knows when Tom Brady is really going to retire is his wife, and none of us are as good looking as his wife. So She's the one that's gonna know, and that's good news for you, Dante, because I believe Tom Brady is invincible. He's gonna play till he's 100 years old. So maybe you have a quarterback longer than the Drew Lock reign there.
I hope so.
Kaz, let's go ahead and jump him on. Kaz, can you see me, Chris?
So I hope Kaz will trade me. I know that he has Ryan Fitzpatrick on his team, and I got Heineke. So you need that QB insurance in this league. So
yeah, we'll see, man. It's just with the 32 team dynasty league, they value those quarterbacks pretty high, or like even backups. I'm like, are you serious? I mean, like, all right, I get it, but
well, yeah, they hit that run early on in the draft. I think we might have mentioned it. It was like 17 out of the first 19 selections were quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It kind of set the stage. Later, I traded back from 11 to 21. Took Travis Kelce there, kind of started like a mini tight end run.
Yeah.
And then when I took Tom Brady, it was in the third round. He was like the last really like solid starting quarterback there. I mean, Derek Carr and guys like that were still on the docket there, but I mean, he went behind guys like Kirk Cousins, who I think Kirk Cousins is fine. In redraft, he's going to have a good first 7 games, but you know, I was thrilled to take Tom Brady where I took him. It's like, you know, people are really gung ho about the quarterbacks and the young ones going for 3, 4, 5 first round picks. And it's like,
yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't believe the price on the quarterback. I thought I would. I mean, I was on point because I got an offer for J.K. Dobbin, for Deshaun Watson. It was like 4 first round picks to like give up, and I'm like, dude, I'm not giving you 4 first round pick and a running back. Like, you're high, like, you know, just trash talking. But we love your team. Let's move on to the next team. I was gonna break down Kaz's team, but he is not here right now. We'll wait till he jumps back on. Let's go ahead and start at number. Well, I want to make sure that this team wasn't on the list before. Yeah, he made a move. So the Green Bay Packers is number 16. But from our last ranking, they were ranked bottom, and it was down to number 30. That shows you how fast you can make a move. So he had to make a trade. I'm trying to find a team that we didn't break down, so that way we can just break their team down. We're going to go ahead and do the old ranking first, like basically go off that list. And that way we see if they made a move and then go to the new rankings. You guys understand me? So it's supposed to be the New Orleans Saints. It sucks for this guy. I feel bad for him. He was number 16, but he moved down to number 19 because of the Cam Akers injury, I believe it was. So let's go ahead and look at his team real quick. How do I lost this. Leads, right? Leads. There we go. I think we might have broken down this team last time, right? No, I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
Okay, so he has Kareem Hunt, Antonio Brown, Mecole Hardman, Noah Fant, A.J. Dillon, O.J. Howard, Jared Goff. I think it's Harold. Is it Harold? Harold Landry, Rashad Evans, Willie Gay, Jalen Thompson, Fletcher Cox, and then he had Phil Rivers on the bench. I don't even know who. Felipe Frank, Isaiah Hodgins, Gary Brightwell. Wow. Boucher, Del Pete, and Cam Akers, Kellen Mond, and Baron Browning. I can see this team struggling right off the bat because we have Kareem Hunt as his running back by committee running back. Antonio Brown, he one helmet taken away to punching another player from getting kicked off the team. I'm shocked he didn't get kicked off the team, to be honest. Mecole Hardman, I'm not a Mecole Hardman guy, not a believer. He's been there 2 years with the best quarterback in the world, and he hasn't done shit. Noah Fant. Hopefully this is the year, though. Noah Fant. I love Noah. Dylan, O.J. Howard, Goff. So he has a quarterback, but for how long? That's the question. His defense seems pretty balanced. I forgot to mention Jamal Adams. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Jamal Adams and Devin White. Okay. I missed those guys. Yeah. There you go. Those were some of his top picks. So I can see why his offense is not that strong. But I just don't see this team competing for championship. I see it being bottom 16 team, maybe one injury away from being a lottery team. And to me, a lottery team in this league is a top 15 pick. So, what is you guys' opinion on this? Dante, what do you think of this team?
I feel like you hit the nail on the head. I've been on Twitter a lot, and I've read some articles that basically they're saying in fantasy you want to chase like legendary upside, and he does have some upside here with the 32 team league, like Tyler kind of mentioned before. Though it kind of is a little bit tough to see a starting roster with O.J. Howard, basically the second or third tight end on his team, really giving you legitimate run. Mecole Hardman, you're hoping for the best, really. Antonio Brown, please don't get released from the team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of question marks there. It's really nice to have Devin White and Jamal Adams, but those are only two players. And the rest of the defense rounds out pretty nicely, and the depth is not too bad. I don't think that he's going to be, Quez Watkins is fine. I would probably start Quez Watkins over O.J. Howard, but it's not too bad. I think he's going to have some big time decisions to make pretty early. If he gets a pretty good, favorable start to the season, he can maybe start moving like a Cam Akers, maybe start moving some of those bench roster spots and trying to upgrade. If things start going slowly, he has the ability to kind of fall back pretty quickly, kind of move off the Antonio Brown pieces, some of those aging guys, and get a little bit younger. So I do like the roster flexibility there. But the first, 4 or 5 games or so is really going to decide what the rest of that season is going to look like.
Tyler, what do you think of this team?
Yeah, I'm kind of echoing a lot of the same things that you guys said. Like it's kind of just a very middle of the road team, I would say. The Cam Akers thing obviously hurt his team a lot. You can tell he went pretty heavy on defense. Harold Landry, Devin White, Jamal Adams are all good. Rashawn Evans, Willie Gates got some good upside, and then Baron Browning there on his IR, I think is going to be a really good rookie. But and I was in another IDP league where I had my defense carry my team to the championship last year. Although with the scoring in this one, I don't think that's as likely. I think they're going to be a little bit more supporting than being able to just carry you to a championship with a not so great offensive roster. And I can kind of see he went a lot to running backs, like kind of in those middle rounds where if one or two of these guys step up, he's got a really nice piece and a really nice trade asset too, because you got to start a running back, and I kind of punted running back because of that, and they all went pretty early. So I'm sitting there with like Elijah Mitchell starting right now. So if he's got AJ Dillon somehow works out and he's like a solid RB2, that's someone he could trade for a pretty hefty price, I would say. But as it sits right now, I'm not super in on this team. I think it's solid, but I think it could use some work.
Yeah, it's like you guys say, I think the ITP of this team is what made it really strong. But if any of those offensive players break out, it could climb in the rankings. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to the next team, which is it's actually Kaz's team, but he's a Dallas Cowboy, right, Kaz?
I'm the Cowboys.
You're the cow. Oh no, you're the Cowboy. It's you. Did we break your team down last time?
Yeah, we broke my team down last time.
Oh, then you're climbing in the rankings then.
Oh, you know what? You know what happened? I think Kaz's avatar might.
Oh, it's the Cowboys.
Cowboys logo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what throws it off. He's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, we'll break it down if you don't hop back on. If not, then we'll go because he's all the way at the top. Let's break down
You guys are playing week 1, Tyler.
Cool.
Hey, I like it. I did just trade for Elijah Moore recently, so that might be why I climbed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's probably why. Yeah, you definitely that's gonna help your team. So let's go to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans, they actually dropped from last month's ranking. We'll probably try to remember the trade that they did or the move that they did that dropped them. This is the Houston Texans. Raheem Mostert, Allen Robinson, Jakeem Grant, yike, Jonnu Smith, Devontae Smith, Marlon Mack, Kyler Murray, Chris Dunlap, J.J. Watt, Stephon Gilmore, Akeem Hick, D.J. Mosley. For some reason, I was thinking Chris Mosley, Aaron Donald, Adrian Amos, and then his bench is Tyrod Taylor, James White, Kenny Gainwell, Mark Ingram, Cade Johnson, I believe. Yeah, Cade Johnson, Kyle Rudolph, Travion Diggs, J.C. Horn. He still has his first round pick. We got to remember first round picks are important here because, I mean, probably as we climb higher and higher, you'll see a lot of these guys traded away their first round pick for good reason. Can't see what really exactly dropped him, but I can see why the rankings don't like him. There's probably 3 players that I like on this offense. Kyler Murray, Devontae Smith, and Allen Robinson. Other than that, you got players that are kind of in a committee, which is Raheem Mostert. I think Trey Sermon will take over. Jonnu Smith, I like Jonnu Smith, but I can't put a high value on a tight end in New England. I know people say, oh, the old Hernandez and Gronk situation. Well, dude, they had a guy named Tom Brady throwing them the ball. They didn't have Cam Newton or Mac Jones, but according to one of our guys in our league, he thinks Mac Jones is basically Tom Brady. So Marlon Mack, another committee. Kyler Murray is huge, though. In this league, Kyler Murray is like the ultimate Konami code quarterback you want. He's going to get you like 30, 35 points a week because in this league, it seems like quarterbacks are just more valuable because of that wide receiver, running back, tight end, quarterback flex spot, which is basically a quarterback flex, you know? I mean, if you don't start a quarterback in there, then you're pretty much doomed from the beginning. If you don't have a quarterback in this league, you're doomed. Defense is pretty solid. I like it. Bench, it needs work. I mean, he has a lot of players that are basically dead spot. I think James White can give him some depth. Kenny Gainwell, I love it. If Miles Sanders goes down, or I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be kind of like a light version of Austin Eckler to like Miles Sanders, Mark Ingram. Actually, after looking at it, he actually has pretty good depth on the running back. So he has a pretty solid team. I don't mind this team. I like it. I think it has potential. Obviously, you don't want to be starting Jakeem Grant. What do you think, Dante?
No, I think I'm a huge Allen Robinson fan. I think Devontae Smith is a good up-and-coming receiver. Like you said, Konami code quarterback and strong defense. Those are all good pillars. Jakeem Grant is going to be a major question mark because even in a deep league like this, the week-to-week usage for Jakeem Grant is going to be very, very spotty. Have some running back depth, so if Mostert ages out or gets hurt, you can maybe slot somebody else in there. Marlon Mack, hopefully he has a role. Hopefully he stays healthy. I think it's similar to the last team. You're kind of sitting in the middle, and you don't ever want to be in the middle. However, you do have flexibility to make a decision early on if you want to move up or if you want to move back. There's enough youth here. It's not ultra young, but there's enough youth. I would probably, if I was this owner, kind of put my chips in towards maybe rebuilding for next season. Just because there are some injuries like to Mac and other people where, things might be a little bit more clear next year. Maybe, scoop up a Michael Thomas who is injured and somebody might be panicking on him. Cam Akers, on a previous team. I mean, this team, hasn't really made any trades or any transactions. I was just checking while you were talking. and it's been pretty much status quo for them. So who knows if they make any moves? They might finish in the middle of the pack, but I would be looking to probably move back if I were them.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's a good point. Tyler, what's your point on this team?
Yeah, again, kind of the same spot there is that, it looks very similar to the last team, where it's kind of got some key pieces on offense. Obviously, Kyler Murray is a lot better than, Jared Goff. Allen Robinson's better than Antonio Brown, from last one. But at the same time, these two players could kind of carry him to some wins. That the defense is really good, but I mean, they're ancient. Like everyone on this defense is like 30 plus, just about. So I mean, they could kind of carry him a little bit for this year, but if he's looking to rebuild, he's got to move those pieces sooner than later.
Right.
Because the come this time next offseason, I'm thinking half that defense is going to be washed, or maybe not washed, but for fantasy purposes, not putting up the same points that you'd be hoping for, and not going to get that same return for you there.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't realize how old that defense was. Yeah, that's a pretty old defense. I mean, I love Aaron Donald though. I mean, he's a beast. But other than that,
absolutely,
Dunlap, mostly they're all pushing retirement or washed up. Kaz, what is your opinion on this team? We're on the Houston Texans, in case you haven't.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry for that. I just was able to resuscitate the laptop, so we're back.
Disappointed in you.
I'm sorry I missed your team, Dante. I know you said something about Heineke, and we'll get there. All right. Regarding this team, I agree with everything you guys said. One thing I want to point out is I think he's in a good position to, once the season is, let's say, halfway there, he can set himself up for a rebuild with all those key pieces that he has, and older key pieces. I mean, a contender might need a few pieces on defense, and that's probably going to give him some good peaks back. But the rest of it, I'm with you guys. Yeah. It's a middle of the pack team, for what I see.
All right. Let's go ahead and I just think this team's middle of the pack. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm one of those people that if I'm in the middle of the pack, I'm either deciding I'm going full rebuild or I'm going all in. I don't like being in the middle because let's be honest here. The last time you were in the middle and you felt good about it is when you got picked in basketball and you weren't the last one. But at least you weren't you're in the middle. You're like, yeah, okay, cool. But if you were the first one, hell yeah, like you're the best. You're LeBron James of the recess playground, But let's go ahead and move on to the next team. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. This team is interesting because he made a big trade. Big trade. Let's go ahead and find this team. Los Angeles Chargers, where are you? Top of.
Also, one last thing with that team. I think Mostert is going to have like a good start to the season. And if Devonta hits, we're talking another game, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, this is not the team I was thinking about, but he improved his team somehow. I don't know what happened.
Some of these teams have just moved up or down based on other teams moving up or down.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah, because he made one waiver wire pick and no other trades.
So basically, like we said in the last podcast, if you're not making moves, you're gonna die in this league. It's just pretty simple. I mean, this league we're active. I'm pretty sure we're over 120 trades. But if you guys can take over for this team real quick and break it down, I need to get something real quick, and I'll be right back. But just go ahead and break it down, Dante. Take it from the top. Just the running back from Najee Harris and down, and I'll be right back.
All right, we'll go here, and then we'll go to Tyler after. So they have a little bit of youth at top. Najee Harris, running back. Justin Jefferson, favorite player of mine. Nico Collins. Gerald Everett. Ramondre Stevenson, Kylan Hill. Amir Smith-Marset. Alex Van Ginkel, Darius Leonard is a really stalwart player at linebacker. John Johnson, AJ Terrell, Joseph Osai. I think this is Patrick Queen and Jordan Fuller to round out their lineup. They have some depth here, as all of our teams do. Most of the depth pieces are kind of third and fourth options, but a pretty balanced type of team as far as youth and age. I think it's a decent amount of youth in their defense on their bench. I mean, I think this team is in the middle for a reason. They have a couple of big names, but I mean, if you look at their roster, they're starting a ton of guys without pictures. So, and the guys that they're starting are Ramondre Stevenson, Kylan Hill, Emir Smith-Marset, guys who, you know, we may have liked pre-draft, but their destinations are not making them immediate fantasy producers. So, it'll be very interesting to see how it works out. They have some stalwarts as far as the youth up top, but they have no quarterback. And
did we break this team down last time?
You know what? I'm not sure. I mean, there are two teams without quarterbacks. I wouldn't be surprised if we did break them down, because if you don't have a quarterback, you're automatically like 15 and below.
I think we did, because I remember this team having Darius Leonard and Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to come back. It's just I haven't told you guys I have a flu, so obviously we're in quarantine right now. We're not next to each other, so we're good. But
for 14 days.
So I thought I was gonna go puke, so I went back there. I'm not gonna puke on live TV but I'm good. Darius Leonard, Patrick Queen. Yeah, we talked about this team last. I don't know, but I think we basically said that this team had the potential to be better. He has a lot of youth, but you also have a lot of players that weren't like worthy of like value for the team to make it better, you know. I get the whole hype of the Ramondre Stevenson. I get it, but it happens every year. A running back on the New England Patriots does great in the preseason. Next thing you know, everybody's adding him, and they have 30 running backs. But
trade him right now.
Yeah.
You should have traded him 2 days ago.
Yeah. Let's not jump on this team, because I'm pretty sure we did talk about this team. Let me put an X on that team. The Cleveland Browns is the next team we're going to talk about. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
No problem.
Okay, let me see. Cleveland Browns. Oh, this is the league manager's team. The commissioner go down if I leave.
A's all around, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna be great. He's gonna win the league.
He's gonna take all of our money. No. So this is Chris. I think it's Chris, right? Chris.
Christian.
Christian, right? Christian William. He's basically the league. He's the creator of this whole. I don't know what you would want to call it, a party or a very, very, very heavy fight, because I see like 32 guys just wanting to win. But Miles Sanders, DJ Moore, Jacoby Meyer, Hayden Hurst, David Njoku, Keelan Cole, Josh Allen. Holy crap. Trey Flowers, Isaiah Simmons, Malcolm Jenkins, Deion Jones, Myles Garrett, Mac Wilson,
Darnell
Savage. I know some of these guys, but I don't know their first names sometimes. Tevin Coleman, Wayne Gallman, Claude Alston, Tony Jones, David Moore.
Yeah.
Zach Gow. I can't say this guy's last name. It's Gross Motto, I think. Gross Motto. Jader Gross Motto. Anthony Hitchen and Aston Davis. Wow. Right off the bat, I like this team. They had depth. I can see that. Had Miles Sanders, DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers is, for me, he's one of those late round wide receivers I'm targeting in Dynasty and redraft right now. Hayden Hurst, tight ends are still valuable, even if they're, a second tight end. And I think he's probably I guess you call him the handcuff tight end value because Kyle Pitts can play wide receivers. David Njoku, I'm just waiting for him. Did he sign that extension with Cleveland? I hope not.
Not
He did, right?
officially, no, but I think he wants to, right?
Yeah, I read something about that he wants to stay.
Yeah. I don't know why the hell you want to stay. I just go play somewhere else with the talent he has. Keelan Cole, I'm a Keelan Cole guy. I like him. Last year it surprised people, but last year I think he was a top 50 wide receiver in standards, 48 in PPR. People were kind of shocked by that. But the king of all king of this roster is Mr. Josh Allen. Josh Allen, like we said, if you have a Konami Code quarterback, those top 5 quarterbacks are very valuable in this league. It's going to put you over the top. His defense isn't so bad either. I like his defense. I like Deion Jones. I like Isaiah Simmons with that upside. I know a lot of people are already kind of like saying that Isaiah Simmons might be a bust. I don't think so. I think he just needs to learn the speed of the NFL. He had depth too. Kevin Coleman, Gallman, not really. Overton, never know what's going to happen in that backfield. Tony Jones, of course, Mr. Trending on Sleeper. Let's add him, David Moore, Pascal. I like Pascal. I think he could probably hit him. I like this team. It's a contending team. They can probably even sniff around a championship team if it stays healthy. Maybe he makes a couple moves. The only spot that worries me is this wide receiver flex spot. I mean, probably get a little deeper, but he has upside on a lot of positions. Dante, what do you think of this team?
I thought that during the pre-draft process, it was very interesting that we were all making trades, and I know he has a lot of stuff that he's working on. He big in the Twitter community.
Yeah.
We really appreciate him getting us in. But I was really, really enamored with like his ability to just like, I'm just gonna take who's here when it's my turn.
Yeah.
Like he didn't make a ton of trades. He didn't make a bunch of moves. Like when we were talking and things kind of got out of hand, he was always there to kind of help redirect things. So I knew that he was there.
Yeah.
But I just continued to watch people flurry of moves and him come out with a very solid team, a very standard team. You can do a lot of stuff with, has a lot of decent youth. I like the Miles Sanders, DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers. I wasn't a real fan of until I started watching him a little bit more this offseason. And Josh Allen, like that's a pretty good core of pretty young players. Hayden Hurst and Joku are guys who are kind of on the fringe as far as tight ends, but you do have a little bit of a bump because of the tight end premium. And he has balance, on his bench. So very solid all-around team, kind of lacking a little bit of like the outright superstar potential outside of Josh Allen, but a little bit of upside there. So, I mean, it just shows you can build a really solid team without trading a ton of players like some of the other people in our leagues who have made their teams better and some not so much.
Yeah, just smart drafting, smart managing.
Yeah.
I always tell people you win your league at your draft. I don't care what people tell you. It's just you win your league at your draft, but you build your championship team during the season. It's just to me, trading is like the best way to make your team better. And we're talking dynasty. We're not talking redraft, because we know redraft we just take our buddies' money and leave. Tyler, what's your opinion on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I like this team a lot, and it is impressive that he basically made no moves during the draft and still came out with a really good roster. I mean, his ability just like to take players at value. I know like Jacoby Myers was kind of later in the round. I think that was huge value. But then picking up guys like Zach Pascal and Keelan Cole, both of them have very good potential. They're kind of good veterans to have on a team, and they have potential to be like a solid wide receiver 3 for your team, which is awesome in a 32-man league. Same thing that you're saying though. These flex spots is something I kind of worry about, but like his defense is pretty good, and I think this is the kind of roster where maybe your defense can kind of carry you. You got Josh Allen and Miles Sanders and DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers. Those guys can definitely, help buoy a couple kind of guys that aren't going to produce like David Njoku or potentially Keelan Cole. But no, overall, I really like this team. I think if certain things fall the right way, then they could be contending. Or I think they're easily in the top half of the league, though.
Yeah, and that's where he's at. He's at number. See, I got him at the Cleveland Brown number 10, right?
Yeah, and it's really impressive because he didn't really go like super young with a bunch of rookies, but he didn't go super old either, right? With like Antonio Brown, these 30-year Jones kind of vet. He's very in the middle of established younger players that are all like within 24 to 26 range here. So I really like it, honestly.
Yeah, it's a solid team. Kaz, what do you think of this team?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think he was really patient, and he really did take the value when you get it. That's it.
Yeah.
He didn't make those many moves and still came out with a really solid team. I said, you guys told me to save it for the pot. Sometimes trading just for trading, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
And even so far away from the season, I think that's worse. I mean, you're wasting all your bullets, and then you get an injury or something, and your season is done. Especially in a season like this.
Yeah, let me give you
a little
live preview of what Miggy does every day and Giovanni does every day when they wake up. Alarm. That offer. If you don't wake up to that, almost as annoying as your alarm, man. I mean, I get it. Damn, dude. Every day. You ever gonna be happy? I'm pretty sure one of you guys called him out for it. Said, you ever gonna be happy for your roster? But I could be wrong. It could be Kravis. But no, I agree with you guys. This team's solid. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The California 49ers. This team actually, at the beginning of the draft, I remember it was top 5 in my ranking. It dropped. Now it dropped down to number 7. And the last month he was 11, so he went up. But before that, at the beginning of the draft, when nobody was making when we finished the draft, he was top 5 because I was trying to get picks, and I'm who the hell is California 49? Oh, never mind, I'm not interested. But so the California 49ers, I like that he didn't put San Francisco 49ers. I mean, that just shows you he probably doesn't like them. Okay, call me Dragon. He has David Montgomery, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Gesicki, Devontae Parker, AJ Green, Derek Carr, Sam Hubbard, Demario Davis, Tyus Bowser, Devondre Campbell, Jerome Baker, Matt Milano, quarterback, bench spot, Sam Ellinger, Jamal Williams, Dwayne Hollister, Marcus Davenport, I think this is Neville Hewitt, Mike Hilton, Micah Hyde, and he doesn't have his first round pick. Him not having his first round pick kind of worries me, to be honest. I get the David Montgomery hate for people. I'm actually a believer in him. I think he'll be okay. But I'm more worried about the contract extension, see if they're going to extend him or whatnot, see his situation. We've seen running backs basically, be like David Montgomery, and the next thing you know, they're moving on to another team and it drops their value. Amari Cooper, his injury right now, it's lingering still. I don't even know if he practiced yet. Has he practiced?
Montgomery.
Started coming back.
Cooper.
Yeah, he played. He played yesterday, I think.
He did
I
play?
think he had a rush attempt, something like that.
Okay. I don't know why the hell you would want a rush attempt on Cleveland for your wide receiver. The DeAndre Hopkins, I get it. I love Hopkins, but then he has little small players like Parker, Green. That's fine. I mean, in a 32-team league, that's what you want. You want some guys like that might get touches, might have upside, Jalen Waddle's waddling right now. We don't know what's happening with him. AJ Green, yeah, dude. Yeah, sure. People were saying, I saw somewhere someone said, hey, what about AJ Green? Why is everybody so high on Julio Jones but not high on AJ Green? I'm like, because AJ Green has been washed up for 3 years, man. So don't be comparing player to player. But he did trade for Derek Carr, I believe, right? He traded for Derek Carr.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he
think that
did.
was the big move that kind of moved him those 2 spots. Some other people moved up, but he ended up moving Justin Herbert, Tyler Boyd, and got back Derek Carr and DeAndre Hopkins. So
Oh wow,
got a lot better at receiver. Got a lot worse as far as youth and talent at quarterback. It's a pick your flavor kind of thing because I mean he has elite wide receiver and his combo wide receivers in this type of league is very good. So I mean we'll see how it goes. It's a very balanced roster. I think it should be solid this year.
Yeah, I mean I'm in the middle. Tyler, give your opinion on this team because I'm in the middle, man.
Yeah, so like I mean I love the starting lineup basically. But and just looking at that starting lineup, I'm like, hey, this guy could be easily top 10 in the league, like, definitely competing. His defense is solid. We'll see how Campbell fares in camp. I think he's been doing pretty good, but his bench though is what worries me. He doesn't really have a lot of depth. If someone goes down, he's kind of SOL here. Jamal Williams, he's going to have a role, but he's going to be a RB3, hopefully. Like on his PPR value. So like, I mean, it's not nothing, but it's really not going to be something. If say even Devontae Parker goes down, Jamal Williams isn't going to fill that role, I don't think. And maybe AJ Green showed some flashes, but I'm not super confident. I like the upside. I'm sure he got him pretty late, so. It's okay. I like it. I think unless there's not an injury, he could be top 10 just looking at that starting lineup. But if someone goes down, he's in rough shape.
Yeah. Kaz, what's your opinion on this team?
I also love the starting lineup.
Okay.
Especially in a league like this, having that roster in the offense at least, man, it's not easy. I have my questions. I see this projection from Parker. I want to know what you guys think about it, but I'm totally out on him. He offered me Parker in the trade, and I was totally I didn't want to take it.
I'm not a Parker.
What do you think about him?
I'm not a Parker guy. To me, is Devontae Parker always getting hurt, man. Like he can't stay healthy. It's always lingering injury. But I mean, he had a great breakout year, right? That 1 year. And other than that, it just kind of been like an up and down roller coaster. But no, man. Like sorry. Go ahead, everybody else. Answer the question. Parker.
Well, I think Devontae Parker, his price tag right now fully bakes in all of the risk, all of the question marks as regards to like what his role is going to be. Where Fuller and Walt, like, there's nobody who outside of Preston Williams who I've been a fan of, but I mean, clearly hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy or be consistent. There's nobody on that roster who does what Devontae Parker does. I think that he's the best boundary receiver that they have. Okay. And, as far as Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller, I feel like they have a lot of overlap there and they're going to be talented. They're going to be utilized. But, like, I think Parker's going to have a role. And in a league like this, if he's one of your flex spots, you could do better, but you could do a lot worse than Devontae Parker in a league like this. I'm actually fine with him. Before I made that trade, I had T.Y. Hilton basically sitting right where he was, and I feel basically the same as both of those players. Like enough to give you some points. It's not going to kill you. It'd be great to upgrade, but like I have zero issue in the 32 league with Devontae Parker in your flex.
Yeah, I actually kind of like Devontae Parker. I think it was like last week. I kind of got into a debate with someone on Devontae Parker, and I was kind of out on him. But then I started doing a little bit more research, and I'm kind of warming back up to him. I'm not saying he's going to be a wide receiver 1 or anything, but I think he's got some decent upside. Last year there was 5 100-yard receiving games for pass catchers in Miami. Devontae Parker had 3 of them. Gesicki had 1. I can't remember the other one. And last year there was no other weapons there. It was all Devontae Parker. That was the team's defense's sole purpose was to stop Devontae Parker. And now you have Waddle and eventually Fuller that can be on the opposite side and pull some defensive attention over there. They can take the top off, so they can't, just sit there and focus solely on Devontae Parker. I also think Tua takes a step forward, and I think he's going to be, you see it with a lot of rookies. They rely on separation because that's what you see in college. But here you have to kind of, throw your receivers open. I think he's getting better at that. And Devontae Parker is a go up and get it kind of guy, not a separation guy. So I think he might get a little bit more trust in Devontae Parker. Obviously, he does have the risks of injury and maybe everything doesn't fall the way I'm saying. So, I think that is baked into his price tag. But I kind of like Parker personally.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you guys talked about this team more because this is why we do this show. I might not see something, but what you guys said now makes more sense. This team actually pretty solid. It looked like a contending team, top 10, top 5 maybe. It's a solid team. Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and cause let's break down Kaz's team because Dante might have to leave it a little bit. So let's just jump into your team, Kaz. I know you've been waiting for this. I know you missed Dante's team, so now I don't want Dante to miss your team, So
Okay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, huh? I know that team. It looked familiar. It kept sending me trade offers. No, dude, your team's too good. I don't want your picks. Your picks aren't worth shit to me. Just kidding. I didn't say it like
They're
that.
worth it. They're worth it.
So you have Melvin Gordon, Tyreek. Oh, I like to call him Tyreek Hill. Chris Godwin, Tyler Higbee, Stephon Diggs, Jamison Crowder, Ryan Fitzmagic, Chris Hayward, Jason Pierre-Paul, Buda Baker, excellent safety by the way in this format. Damian Wilson. I know it's Daniel Sorensen. Yeah, because he won. I played football against this guy. This guy was a beast. Chris Holcomb was Cole Holcomb, Donovan Wilson, and then your bench spot you have Teddy Bridgewater, Damian Williams, David Johnson, Rashad Penny, Drew Sample, yeah, Vita Vea, Brandon Graham, DeMonte Kazi. Wow, yeah. Your team, your starting lineup is just beast. It's like stud. I don't know how you got 3 stud wide receivers. I still try to figure that out. Maybe you can explain how, because I probably missed that you traded up or you traded down. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I guarantee you probably got him in like mid rounds because of the value that he was probably going to provide you. Tyler Higbee, I like Tyler Higbee this year. I thought I wasn't going to like him, but with the whole upgrade at quarterback and Gerald Everett being gone, I like him there. I know everybody's up on Jacob Harris's hype. I get it, but it's going to take time for him to get into the roster, acclimated. Melvin Gordon, I think I gave my opinion on that to you, Kaz, but it's just a good starting running back for sure. For the time being, your bench is what eye-popping to me. You got Teddy Bridgewater. If Locke goes down, which I assume that he won't start the whole season, I don't even know if Miggy ever agreed to the bet with me. But Damian Williams, if Montgomery goes down, David Johnson, he's probably the starting running back. Rashad Penny is frick, man. You have like handcuffed running back after handcuffed running back. In a league like this, that's very valuable. This is okay, but this is what you have a lot of upside on your bench. So this team can go very, very simple, like a great team to an unstoppable team from 0 to 100. Because say Teddy Bridgewater becomes the quarterback, you can trade him, or you can trade Ryan Fitzpatrick and get a bigger, more depth or a stronger roster, improve your defense. I love your defense, Buda Baker. A lot of people underrate Pierre-Paul. I love him. I always try to target him, but holy crap. Solid team. I'm truly jealous. This is an idea of what my team wants. I want it to look like when I have all my 120 picks, Go ahead, Dante, give your opinion on this roster because
I was very jealous with how nice these receivers looked. He made not an offer, but showed some interest in Devontae Adams, and I was like, oh, let me take a look, and I was like, hell no, I'm not trading you Devontae Adams. Hell no. I'm trying to win. So I mean, I think we talked about it. You made a good point. You were like, it's really difficult to make trades with teams at the top because you don't want to like push them over the edge, but you want to gain value for your team. I think your team is awesome. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is admirable starter for this year. We'll see kind of how it flows. Hopefully, there's some kind of backup plan for you at the quarterback position because Ryan Fitzmagic turns into Ryan Fitztragic very quickly sometimes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So as long as the magic is flowing, like I think you have a awesome shot because those receivers are going to be dominant. Those guys are really going to carry you, and then you have a really solid defense and depth on the back end too. So it's like you're not fully tied to Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I think you have a really great shot. And then the guys that you do have up top aren't that old, so you do have the ability to kind of ride this out a little bit. I think that quarterback position, similar to my team, I think Brady's just more stable. But if you can find ways, like I said it earlier, to stabilize that quarterback position, like I think you have no issues contending for this year, next year, and probably the year after that with how strong your team is up top.
That is correct. Tyler?
Yeah, same thing. The wide receivers, like, I mean, you can't be mad at that, right? Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, and 32-man league. Like, I mean, that's insane.
You can't even get that in a 12-team league. How the hell do you get that in a 32-team league? But we'll get to that. Go ahead.
I will say the defense is really underrated. You mentioned JPP. He's kind of underrated. Buda Baker, everyone knows he's good. But Daniel Sorensen had almost 100 tackles last year. Donovan Wilson kind of came up late last year. He was really good. Cole Holcomb, same way. He was injured a bit last year, but once he came back, he was a stud. I think it relies on, does Teddy Bridgewater get the starting job? Because if he does, this team goes from like top 5 to like, hey, this could be the best team in the league, right? You move him for either, another quarterback or even, another running back. Melvin Gordon, he's good. He's going to have a role this year. But then you have so many handcuffs too. Like, I mean, someone's probably going to work out there, and you have another running back in your stable pretty much. So, I mean, I love this team. I think, like I said, if Bridgewater does good and he gets the starting job, and you can flip either him or Fitzpatrick for just another piece, like, you're just locking it in pretty much.
Yeah. All right, Kaz, we kissed your ass enough. Tell us how the hell you appreciate the team.
I appreciate all that you guys said. Man, my thought process was this: what's the format of this league?
Oh, hold on. Let me get my notes. Go on.
Everybody was viewing this league as a standard super flex league, and it's still a one quarterback league. I mean, I know there's 32 starters and that's it, and we were 32 players on the league, but I believe it's on average there are like 40 quarterbacks a year that finish as a top 12 quarterback. So that was the first thing that I thought. I would say, man, I'm going to wait as much as I can on quarterback. And as you said, I couldn't believe I got Bridgewater at that point, because I believe they're going to give Locke the opportunity to succeed. But if they're contending and he starts making mistakes as he's been doing it, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go to Teddy quickly, because Teddy it's a good game management.
Yeah, he's proven it.
Yeah. Regarding the wide receivers, that was the position I knew I had to take first, because it's the position that we use the most in this league. And also the difference between the half PPR for the running back and the full PPR for the wide receiver was also a point for me that I had to establish. What I did was that I traded back on the first round. It started with a crazy quarterback run, and I said, well, if I end up without a quarterback, no problem. I'll wait next year, and I'll use my first round pick to try and get a quarterback.
And you, see, you still have your first round pick.
I got all my first still.
Okay.
So I traded back, and then I traded up. I remember that I was between Diggs and Adams on that second pick, but it was still with Aaron Rodgers situation. I said, no, I'm going to go with Diggs. I know I'm going to get a bunch of targets guaranteed there, and the PPR is going to help me.
You see that?
So,
ooh, you know, like, nah. But I guess that's pretty. That's the Devontae Adams, the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. I'm telling you guys, like, it screwed me up in so many dynasty startup. It screwed me up so many just drafts. Like, you don't know how to value a player if you don't know the key player like Aaron Rodgers, if he's gonna be there for the next 2 or 3. He's gone after this year. Don't matter if they win a Super Bowl, he's gonna leave.
Yeah, he's leaving. They might leave together.
Yeah.
They haven't figured out Devontae's contract. So that was basically my thought process. I said, look, the difference in points between the quarterback 1 and the quarterback 15 or the quarterback 32 is going to be around 120 points, and the difference between the top 20 wide receivers and the top 60 wide receivers is going to be much more than that.
Yeah.
And considering that we're starting a bunch more wide receivers instead of quarterback, I mean, I'm not a total analytics guy or an accountant or nothing, but I just break down the numbers in my head, and it made sense to me to go heavy on the wide receiver, and none of them are. Well, I think Crowder is over 28, or he is 28, but Tyreek, Chris Godwin, and Stephon Diggs, I think the oldest one is 27. So I should have at least 3 years there with flexibility to get my running back and to establish that quarterback position.
No, I mean, I am truly jealous. Not even if it was a 10-team league, I'd be jealous of those 3 wide receivers, you know? So an 18 league, but very impressive team. I think your team's obviously a championship contending team. One of the other teams that I think is a championship contending team we're going to talk about right now is the Atlanta Falcons. Brandon has been awesome. He was on the last show, and he wanted us to talk about his show, and I told him, dude, I'm not going to talk about your team. Your team's one of the best, brother. Come on, dude. And now he's on this one, too. So let's go ahead and break down his team. Dude, Kaz, I really hope the best for you with your team.
Good, Kaz.
I freaking hate you because I just look at it and I'm like, man, he got, like, asset after asset, man. Like, he could build you could trade some of those assets for picks and still build a good foundation.
Yeah, I want to talk trash, because we play each other week 1, but I don't know if I can looking at that.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Man, don't make me laugh too hard, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the Atlanta Falcons. This guy, it was one of the guys that I traded with. I'm going to get into the trade. It was Saquon Barkley basically for, I believe, like 4 first-round picks. It could have been more. I can't remember the transaction.
Spicy.
Someone can pull it up. That'd be great. But while I talk about this team, he didn't have Saquon starting out. He acquired it from me, my team. He has Saquon Barkley, Keenan Allen, Robbie Anderson, Darren Waller, Chris Carson, Marvin Jones, Matt Ryan, Javon Kinlaw, I like him. Devin Bush, holy crap. Bate, Clark, Willis, I can't pronounce this guy's last name. Oloquan, I can't pronounce his first name either. Matt Crosby, my boy. And then we got the bench, Phil Walker, is it PJ Walker? Or Philip? PJ Walker, Devontae Booker, Roundtree, Cootie, Colin Johnson, Darby, wow. Parnham, Allen, Crowder, Tay Crowder. So I'll get to the bench. It's interesting. Any of you guys able to find that trade?
Yeah, I have it up right now. Oh, you got it, Tyler?
Oh, I just closed it out, but I saw it was 4 and a bunch of other picks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Saquon Barkley, 10th round pick, 9th round pick, 10th round pick, 10th round pick in this redraft startup, but he gave you 2022 first, second first, a third first, a fourth first, a 2022 third, and then a 17th round startup pick. So big haul for you. Is a quarterback like haul for sure.
Yeah. So I got a lot of draft asset. It was at that point that I realized, okay, I'm going all in on pick. But this team, wow, I'm more impressed how balanced it is, more than anything. Because he has a running back, he has a wide receiver. Robbie Anderson's about to sign an extension, so that's safe. But that tight end, Darren Waller, is like a cheat code, just like Kelsey and Kittle. And then you have the quarterback too. You have a quarterback in Matt Ryan at least, maybe for 1 or 2 more years. Marvin Jones, I think, is very sneaky value. And then Keenan Allen, wide receiver 1, Robbie Anderson, wide receiver 2. This starting roster is freaking solid as hell. It's actually pretty scary how solid and balanced. And Chris Carson, a running back that's going to be a top 12, top 24 running back. That's pretty crazy. And then you got his defense. Kinlaw, Bush. Those are some great foundations right there. Crosby. I like his defense, but his bench, it has a lot of players that I would like to call have upside. Darby, I like him. Parnham, I like him. Johnson, I think if he gets a workload somewhere, if he gets playing time, he can make move. Booker, Saquon Barkley, good job. You got his backup. That's awesome. I mean, you always gonna have a running back. And then Josh Allen on the bench, Tay Crowder, very solid team. I think this team is a top 5 team for sure. Dante, what do you think of this team?
I'm looking through these trades, and first off, I think the team is a really good team. I think it's a really balanced team. I think the starting lineup is a home run. There some guys like Marvin Jones who's kind of on the fence, but I mean, with Devin Bush as your linebacker, Jesse Bates, like he has a really solid all around roster. I love the team. I want to commend him for somehow acquiring and trading away picks. This guy traded away 4 first-round picks to get Saquon Barkley. He traded away 2 first-round picks to get Keenan Allen. He traded it was 2 first-round picks to get Matt Ryan. Like he moved so many pieces at different points of his draft. He still has first round, second round for next year. To put together a team that is as balanced as his is, and with as much talent and superstar talent that his does, to still have picks for next year, it's a really, really admirable way to move around the board. And you would have to go back to the startup draft to find out where it all started. But I was looking through the trades and I was like, bro, how did you have 14 first to trade to people? Like where are these picks coming from? So yeah, no, great team. I mean, just like every other team, you're really hoping for health there. You're really hoping that everybody stays healthy, like we all are. But yeah, I think it's a really, really strong roster. But definitely big kudos to those timely trades, and making that roster.
Hey man, Javani and Miggy, y'all should take note. This is how you trade players, get those picks to trade for other players and upgrade your roster. Not trade your players, downgrade your roster, and then trade away that player again and downgrade that roster again. What he did was a totally what I like to call he's playing chess, we're playing checkers, you know? I mean, the guy did it. It was the other way around. I don't play that game, but yeah, he did amazing. Tyler, what do you think of this team?
Yeah, same thing. It's a top end team for sure. I mean, having 2 top 24 running backs, you got Saquon Barkley, Carson's easily RB2. He might be pushing RB1 status this year if he can stay healthy. We'll see. but having that's huge. And then, usually when we're looking at these teams, they have, at least, one or two spots that you're like, he might be okay, but that's Marvin Jones for his team. And I like Marvin Jones. I think he's going to be solid there. So that's a pretty nice, weak link to have there if it's Marvin Jones on your team.
Right.
And then defense, I like it too. A lot of underrated players with some superstars like Devin Bush, Jesse Bates, but underrated guys like Chuck Clark, Kari Willis, Alua Khan as well. All of them are really good. And yeah, he's still got picks. Like, I've been offered, I think, his first round pick a couple of times. I go over there and look at his team. I'm like, absolutely not.
No. Yeah. Whew. Kaz, what do you think?
Like you guys said, this is a solid team. One question, Dante. What did he exchange for Matt Ryan? I almost crashed when I saw that. It wasn't first rounders, right?
Yeah, so he traded first rounders from Ian and Robbie Trail for Matt Ryan. He got back a 23 third, 24 second, 24 third. I didn't realize people were trading 24 picks already. But yeah, just another one of those multiple firsts for a quarterback who's still formidable. I'm a Falcons fan, so I believe it's going to be serviceable for a couple more years. We saw other quarterbacks going for much more, so it's a steal for him.
Yeah. Man, no, I love this roster. As you guys said, Marvin Jones, he finished top 16, I don't know. He always finished top 20, and nobody wants him, and he still put up points. And he has those splash weeks that once he gets a splash week from that, he's going to win that week.
Yeah.
The defense is solid. You even got Josh Allen. That's probably Giovanni Omigi's doing.
Yeah.
Some of these trades, I think, on the big teams are Giovanni or Miggy.
You guys, we don't. We just want to say this: if you're watching Giovanni Miggy, we're not talking trash. We're just looking the truth, bro.
We love you guys.
Kaz, you guys make the league move for sure.
No, Kaz, you're right, man. It's just to have Josh Allen on your bench, and even the upside that he has on his bench, he can make up more moves. I just see this team, and I'm like, holy crap, he can make more moves if he wanted to, and he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, I believe your name is. Brandon, good job, man. Very impressive team. Top 5 team for me, for sure. Especially the way you build it. It's scary, man. It's scary what you can do with all that asset that you still have. Let's go ahead and go back to the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to try to go through these next 3 teams quick because the first place and second place team is you guys think some of these teams are loaded. Whew. Okay. Minnesota Vikings. This is Mike's team. Mike Davis, Calvin Ridley, Robert Wood, Adam Troutman, Michael Gallup, John Brown, Russell Wilson, Winovich, Levante David. I love this guy. It sucks that he's getting old. Harrison Smith, Eric Kendrick, Kenny Clark, Jonathan Allen, and I think this is Amani Hooker. His bench is Mason Rudolph, Todd Gurley, Samaje Perine, Byron Pringle, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jordan Atkin, Dante Fowler, and Dermont Jones. He doesn't have his own first round pick. He has They Call Me Dad first round pick, and he has a third. And he has basically everybody in the league have their future picks after 2022, except for Giovanni and Miggy. So, this team is solid. I can't say that it's a championship contending team. His defense is a little bit older. It's on the older side. Maybe he's going to be rebuilding that defense sooner or later. But having Calvin Ridley, Robert Wood, and Wilson, but Mike Davis, I'm not a Mike Davis guy. I believe someone in that backfield is going to be like the James Robinson of this year, where they're going to come out of nowhere, and we don't know who it's going to be. And they signed like 2 running backs already. To me, Mike Davis, cool, but I kind of already know what he is. I've seen it in Chicago, I've seen it in Seattle, I've seen it in who did he play last year with?
Carolina.
Carolina. You know, I already seen it. He'll do good a couple games, then he kind of gets worn down. And now that the season is way longer, I don't know how much he's gonna hold up. And I've seen people reach for him in redraft already, and I'm like, shit, go ahead and take him in the 4th round. I don't care if take him. I'm not drafting him. But Adam Troutman, I love. I mean, this roster to me is just, I don't fear it. I don't know how. I think the defense is what makes it so high. But I love the Ridley. Everybody loves Ridley. But what's your opinion, Dante?
I think that how Sleeper and Fantasy Pros does their teams is kind of wonky sometimes. I was just talking off the side of CB70 in our league, and he has a team that's really nice. It was ranked 22, so I think we talked about it last time. And I don't think he made a ton of moves, and now he's ranked number 9. I mean, he has the Cowboy, or he has a Zeke, he has Thielen, he has a strong roster, and he's much lower. This team is 2 points projected lower than the last team that we just saw. I don't think that this team is 2 points worse than that team. I think the team that we just saw, I think, is a legitimate contender. And if you looked just based on point totals, like I know that we all do from time to time to gauge, our teams. If you looked at this one, you'd be like, oh yeah, like this one's going to be up there too. And it's like I feel the same way as you do. I don't fear the team the same way. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good team.
Yeah.
I don't think it has too many holes. You're asking for a lot of things to break right. I think that this team is a middle of the road team plus. They have a little bit better team or defense than some of those middle of the road teams. They have a little bit better depth. You have tent pole guys like Ridley and Wilson, and Robert Woods is pretty good. But yeah, it's a little bit surprising to me that this team would be rated so highly in comparison to some of the other teams that we've seen. I do think it's a good one, but I think it's going to be a team that's probably on the borderline of a contender or not. Probably around 9 or 10 or so.
Tyler?
Yeah, kind of the same. Looking back at that last team versus this team, I like that last team, but I do like this team a lot. I think they're probably like top 10. They're definitely making the playoffs. They might win a game or two depending on their seeding, but they got some pieces that aren't super exciting but are good, like Robert Woods. No one ever wants Robert Woods, but he just continues to put up good numbers. Calvin Ridley's been pretty underrated, I feel like, until this offseason. Russell Wilson's kind of getting old, and no one really wants him, even though he keeps putting up top 10 numbers. But his team's good. He's got some pieces that can carry him to some wins. The defense is solid. There's not really any holes anywhere, I would say. The bench depth is going to be solid. If Todd Gurley signs somewhere, that would be nice for him. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like him.
But yeah, I mean, it's, I think, a playoff team that's going to win maybe a game or two in the playoffs, but I don't see it really competing for the championship this year.
I hope we didn't bash your team too much, buddy. I'm trying to make it sound good, but it's very hard for me. But Kaz, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I can't talk trash about my cousin's team. Joking, but no, it was really not my cousin, but we share the same last name. It's not a common last name, so this is one of the cool things about fantasy. I like the team. I'm with you guys there that I feel that he's maybe 1/3 on the top third of the league. He needs some things to pan out his way. John Brown, not crazy there. Michael Gallup, man, I like Michael Gallup in a league like this because if by any chance Amari or CD or anyone misses time, then he's gonna jump on the rankings. I think Calvin Ridley's gonna have awesome season for sure.
Yeah, I have Calvin Ridley top 5 wide receiver right now, and I'm not gonna say top 3. You know,
Yeah,
I'm very high.
I'm with you there.
I'm high on Calvin Ridley.
But all around, if Troutman hits, that it's not going to be a top 8, top 9. He's definitely going to be on the top 6 at least. But that's about it. And as you guys said, if Todd Gurley signs somewhere that he at least gets the goal line, that's also going to be a plus for him because he's going to be able to trade him to me. Joking. I also like the Pringle upside, although I heard the other day that no. I heard the other day that the wide receiver 2 for the Kansas City for the Chiefs hasn't been a top top 30 or top 36 since like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Basically, I love the Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah.
I think if I think they should give him a shot. If by
Yeah,
any
he's
chance
been killing
something
it.
happened with the OB, yeah, he's been killing it.
And that's the thing, though. Like, I think last year, because of COVID and everything, and training camp, rookies weren't allowed to report or whatnot. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones would have been that wide receiver 3 there. But even when OBJ went down, he still didn't get a lot of rep. But I think it was more because the cost, the other stuff. Yeah, I mean, I love DPJ. Solid team, but we'll see how it goes. Dante, you got to head out. Thank you for your time, for the first time and the second time. We appreciate you, man. Like, honestly, I'm glad that, we have people like you in this league because a great mind, and you spoke the truth, man. You dropped some knowledge. You dropped some good stuff. You want to leave your handle and tell us where we can find you or any work that you have going on right now?
Yeah, you can find me. I'm trying to grow the personal Twitter, Dante_PPP, or at paydirt_profile. I'm really just trying to learn from you guys. I'm trying to learn from everybody out there on Twitter. I have kind of some what if articles coming up here in probably a couple of weeks. I like to just ask those what if questions or why questions. One of my big ones recently is people have been telling me that Tyler Boyd is basically nothing in fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at all, and I've been championing that for years now, and I will continue to do so. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It was really cool hanging out with you guys. I wish I could stay till the end, but we'll see you guys in the chat, and until next time.
Take care, buddy.
Hey, bud.
Good one.
All right, so we have the Tennessee Titans, which is Jake's team. It climbed to number 4 based on all his trades, so we won't talk about him because we talked about his team last. Let's see. Yeah, Jake made a lot of moves, so he knows how good his team is. He's good. We have the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Rams, the Bears, the Seattle Seahawks, and the football team. So that's 5 more teams. Let's go ahead and break this down quickly. Let's go with the Bills real quick. Let me find them. I always do this. I know it's like division, but
it's not easy.
No, what are they?
Well, so many teams. Axel, I think is Axel EXP.
Is it? Oh,
They're AFC.
AFC right here. Axel XP. Okay. Derrick Henry, Deebo Samuel, Sterling Shepard, Austin Hooper, Dalvin Cook. How the hell did he get 2 top? Hunter Renfrow, Jacob Eason, Leonard Williams, Keanu Neal. Keanu Neal, Derwin James, J.C. Jackson, Martin Golden, Greenlaw, and then there it is. Wentz, Devontae Freeman, D.D. Westbrook, Bourne, James Thomas, Dye, and Walker. He has his first round pick too. I'm curious to know how he got 2 top stud running back. I'm pretty sure it's through a trade.
No,
Like
he actually drafted them.
both of them back to back.
Yeah, I just looked. Dalvin Cook is at 125, and then Derrick Henry fell to the second round, 208. So he was like at the back end of the first and just got them back to back pretty much.
That's impressive. Okay. Yeah, this team is solid. I mean, I like more of his IDP players. Neil, Leonard Williams, Derwin James. I mean, those are some solid players. But then he has Carson Wentz. So put Carson Wentz in there in this roster, because I think he'll start week 1. It's trending like he's going to. This team is very solid. His wide receivers, Sterling Shepard kind of worries me, and Hunter Renfrow. But other than that, you have basically a quarterback and 2 top 24 running backs, top 12 running backs actually in there. That's a solid team, and he has bench. I mean, he has his depth is not so strong actually, but it's just a solid team. Like it's a team that I would be worried about facing, because Henry, Cook, and then put Carson Wentz, they can all get you almost 60 to 70 point combined. And then you got Hooper, tight end. So, yeah, I mean, this team's pretty solid for me. I would put it in the top 10 for sure. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this team's just super top heavy is my thing with it. You know, they got Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook, and I feel like that's almost like a wow factor and kind of skewing how I feel about this team. Because outside of that, you know, yeah, Carson Wentz is there, and then I like Deebo Samuel, but after that, it's not much. I don't love Hooper. Shepard hasn't been able to stay healthy. Renfrow is, you know, maybe the third target on that team. I'm assuming one of Edwards and Ruggs takes a step forward, but you know, you never know. And then the depth is solid. You know, I like Kendrick Bourne and I like D.D. Westbrook. It's a lot of players I like, and you know, I think it's definitely going to be a playoff team, and I think they're definitely going to win a game or two in playoffs. But I also don't really see them as huge contenders, you know, top 3 or anything like that. And defense is good too. I do like the defense as well. Yeah. Keenan Neal, if he can stay healthy, is big, and a couple other guys there as well.
Yeah, Derwin James is huge for me. I think Derwin James is going to be like a future Jamal Adams if he stays healthy ever.
Yeah, both of his big-time DBs, if they can stay healthy, then that's going to be huge. But they've struggled recently to do that.
Yeah. Kaz?
For sure. Who doesn't love that running back duo? The only thing that I want to point out of this team is that I worry if, you know, running backs hit a wall at some point. It's harder to predict it. And Henry and Cook have been used like a lot.
Yeah.
So I like this team. I think it's gonna push for playoffs. But if one of them goes down, man, it's gonna be hard to come back from that. And also, he's probably going to have to do, if he sees that this team isn't doing as much point as projected or as he needs, he's probably going to have to do a move or two to get some future in it. He still has his first for 22, 23, so he got some picks. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's depending too much on those 2 running backs. I think Deebo is a bit underrated this season. Shepard, I don't like that much. It's kind of a complicated situation. And I think Hooper's going to be a little bit better than last year. But as I said, it worries me that even Wentz, Henry, and Cook are not as valuable as they are this year.
Yeah, I have a feeling, because I've gotten a trade offer from him, and he tries to make moves, but I don't think he made that many trades yet. I could be wrong though, but he is active. He tries to make moves and whatnot. This Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, very top heavy. I mean, maybe flip it for let's say a Trey Sermon, and then get a wide receiver and then a future pick if you're gonna go into rebuild mode. But this team to me is more on the fringe of I'm gonna win now, or next year I'm gonna bust it up for rebuild mode, you know. But okay, that covers the Bills. Let's go ahead and go to the Los Angeles Rams. I think we might have talked about this team last time. He just made a big jump because he made some trades, right? Let me check. No, we didn't.
I'm getting there.
No. He had Joe Mixon, DK Metcalf, Quentin Cephas, Will Disley. Holy crap! I didn't even know he was still in the league. Daryl Henderson, Myles Gaskin, Daniel Jones, Brian Byrne, Fred Warner, Marlon Humphrey. Holy, that's a good defense. Henderson, Sweat, Clowney, Dean, Darrington Evan, Marquise Goodwin, Cedric Wilson, Lynn Bowden Jr., Eskridge, Tremble, and Jones. This team's deep. That's my first thought. He has Joe Mixon, running back. What I think he's a running back one if he gets that full workload that he's gonna get. DK Metcalf, Daryl Henderson, Gaskin. I'm not a Daniel Jones guy. I think he sucks, but in the 32-team league, even a quarterback that sucks is serviceable. But Myles Gaskin's proven in the preseason that he's gonna get the workload, and everybody kind of panicked when the coach said, he said, we're going to share the running back. I don't think they're going to realize how talented he is. Talented team, but after that, it's not that deep between Cephas, Disley, and then his bench. But his defense is pretty studly. I mean, Byrne, Warner, Humphrey, Sweat, Clowney, that's a stud defense. I like the team. It's actually a little bit – it has some very good balance. I think this team can probably be a top 5 team for sure. And it's going to make it is a top 5 team based on the ranking. But it's balanced and it has depth. And I like the balance between the IDPs and the starters. This is probably one of the most impressive IDP and starters balanced rosters that I've seen in this league. But what do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's a really good team, honestly. There's not much I don't like. Obviously, he needs to address wide receiver and tight end, wide receiver after Metcalf, obviously. But Cephas, I don't love that. But again, as we've kind of seen in the starting roster, a lot of people don't have, a full starting roster that looks great. You always have a piece or two that you have questions marks around, and that's Cephas and Disley here. I don't love Disley there, but he kind of fell into Daryl Henderson as well, which is, good for him, not great for makers and anyone that has him. I mean, if he could move one of those running backs and maybe add some depth, that would be great. But, on his bench, I like some of the younger pieces, Stevenson, Eskridge, and Trimble. I think they have upside for sure. And then the defense, I like the defense. Brian Burns, Warner, Humphrey, all good. Hendrickson, Clowney, and Dean, all of them are solid IDP players. And, I like the team overall. I think they're definitely pushing top 5. Based on some of the other teams we see, I don't really know if they are top 5, but I think they're definitely knocking on the door.
Yeah. His bench is good too. I mean, I even like Cedric Wilson as like a sleeper, deep sleeper. If he signs on with another team, Lynn Bowden Jr., Eskridge, I love Tommy Tremble. And he has his picks, so he's only going to get better. Kaz?
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. The only thing I don't like on the roster construction is it's like the opposite of what I did. It's going so heavy on running backs since they're a bit nerfed. And the change is and the drop off is pretty quick, but man, with those 3 running backs, they're gonna carry him. And if Daniel Jones is a little bit better than what we've seen, and some people don't know, but the rushing ability from Daniel Jones is pretty good. I guess everybody remembers that trip. I think he was the fastest running back registered last season running. I think
that's crazy.
I think if Daniel Jones takes a step
forward,
forward, he's gonna. I'm sorry. As I told you guys, nobody knows, but my native language is really Spanish. So
no, you're good, bro. You're doing great. I didn't even know you were Hispanic. I'm people Polynesian, man. So
yeah. But pretty much I like it. I don't like the Cephas and the Disley side, but man, those running backs are nice. Gaskin had, I think, 2 touchdowns yesterday. So all that committee stuff, I think it's been put to rest. He had a receiving one and a rushing one. And Henderson, if he stays healthy, it's going to be good, man. That's an awesome offense.
After thinking about it, let's say we took away Henderson, this team wouldn't look all that great. It would be like, okay. but he had things fall into his hand, and that's all you need in this league. A couple of dynamite to drop into your hand, and you're already a top team. But I love this team. I think it's actually a championship contending team, in my opinion. Let's move into the last 3 teams, I believe. And if we missed one team, guys, I do apologize. I'll go back and do a personal one just for you, a breakdown of your own team. But it's hard to keep track of 32 teams. And when the rankings change and stuff, it's incredible. The Chicago Bears, okay. Mr. J, okay. I'm going to give this guy a shout out, actually, because he said, don't bash my team so much. I'm going to try to make it better. Get him real quick. Adam on Twitter is Joshua Show, JB Show Snow. He's a great follow. I like following him. He's a good guy. He gives his truthful opinion, and he was one of the few at the beginning that basically was calling out people, and then he realized that calling out people is not really gonna. I was the same way too. I called out people, and people got a little bit fired up, but I always say a person that gives their truthful opinion, you always want to listen to it, because maybe you could be wrong and they could be right. And this guy, he drafted well, and he also traded up, traded down, traded up, traded down. He did a lot of trades, but he had some bad luck. And his name's Mr. Michael Thomas. I know this right away. Michael Thomas got hurt. I've talked to him. He thinks Michael Thomas come back in 6 weeks. In my opinion, I don't think Michael Thomas plays this year, because that injury is actually more worrisome than people believe. I've talked to the doctor over at Fantasy Point. He said basically that injury is more along the line of 12 to 14 weeks. Soccer players have a history of it, and they said that basically after they recover and everything, it takes them like 4 more weeks to basically get in game shape. So I'm out on Michael Thomas, but he tried to trade Michael Thomas. I know that. He tried to make a trade, but he has Kenyon Drake, Deontay Johnson, OBJ, Ingram, Terrell Owen, Randy Moss, Deshaun Jackson, Dak Prescott. He has a very solid defensive team. Jenkins, Shin, I can't pronounce Kwiatkowski, Burgess, Wilson, and not. And then he has the amazing MVP of the league, according to Miggy, Drew Lock, Latavius Murray, Breida, Jamar Jefferson, Anthony Miller, N'Keal Harry, Patrick Williams. Preston Williams, not Patrick. Jay Sternberger. And then he has Michael Thomas and Kerryon Johnson on the IR. But doesn't have his first round pick or his third round pick. He has a couple second rounders. Okay. I like this team. I think it's solid, especially with Dak. He has upside players, what I like to call them. And Brian Edwards, Deshaun Jackson. I know a lot of people are out on him, but I still think he'll be that third wide receiver in that Rams offense. Defense it's okay. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's solid. But his bench is actually pretty deep. I mean, Drew Lock, he's going to be starting. So I'm amazed he hasn't traded him now. And I'm pretty sure he's going to try to or something, but I don't know anymore with the Dak Prescott situation where people are getting worried about his injuries. N'Keal Harry, maybe he latches on somewhere else. They release him. Jay Sternberger, Robert Tonyan could get hurt. Jamar Jefferson, well, it's going to take him a while, but Matt Breida, well, we know he's been doing really well in training camp and in preseason, I'm pretty sure. And the Bills seem to like him. Latavius Murray, Kamara goes down, boom, there you go. This roster has a lot of like if, and, or but, That's what I want to say. Because Kenyon Drake, yeah, I don't feel great about him starting there, and he's already injured, but OBJ, is he going to be a bounce back candidate? Deontay Johnson, can he improve? I like this team, but I don't think it's a championship contending team. It's middle of the pack in the top 10. So it's like 5 to 7, Tyler?
Yeah, I like pretty much exactly what you said. Like a lot of if, ands, and buts on this team. Depending on who you ask, they could probably either love this team or hate this team, depending on how they feel about, Deontay Johnson, OBJ, Evan Ingram, Brian Edwards. I feel like those, four players right there, just in general, are very highly debated on whether they're going to be good or not. And, they have like you said, is OBJ going to make a comeback? Is Deontay Johnson going to catch more balls, basically?
He's not gonna drop them all.
Right. So, I mean, I like this team, and it's kind of what are the odds all four of those players hit on their potential? I think low, but I think you still got at least probably 2 out of 4 at worst, I think, are going to hit on potential there. Drew Lock, kind of same thing with Teddy Bridgewater with your team, Chris, is that, if Drew Lock is a starter, you have Dak and you feel good about it, you can move Lock and get a pretty big haul, whether that's draft picks or another piece to really compete. And then the depth, again, love the depth with N'Keal Harry. Jamar Jefferson's been doing really good in preseason as well. Latavius Murray and Breida, really good handcuffs and, potentially standalone value. So, and then Michael Thomas back next year at worst. I like this team. It's kind of built more for the future, but it has upside to compete this year, I think. But if worst comes to worst, you're competing next year when Michael Thomas is back, and a little bit more information on those four guys I kind of pointed out.
Yes, sir. I mean, that Michael Thomas injury was brutal for this team too, because you already think about it. He put Michael Thomas in the Deshaun Jackson. That roster looks sexier.
Absolutely.
I mean, it looked great. JB showed that amazing build. Kaz, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you guys on the amazing build. I think he has like a lot of flexibility with this roster. He doesn't have sexy names, but as you say, there's going to be people that's going to love this team. I mean, Deontay Johnson is going to push for a lot of targets and catches for sure. I hope he settles with those drops. OBJ is going to demand for sure targets. That they try to force feed him. If Brian Edwards is at least the second option on that team, man, you have Dak. What do you guys heard about Dak? I heard that he's not going to be ready probably for the whole season. And then I think Pelissero came out and said, no, he's for sure ready for week 1.
I'm going off what Stephania Bell said. Stephania Bell said that basically his shoulder's not going to be an issue. He'll be fine, but his ankle is still going to linger him. But he'll be fine.
Of course.
He should start. And I trust Stephania Bell. She was on the Going for Two network like 2 weeks ago, and she basically spoke the truth. I mean, she's awesome. And, I mean, there's a lot of fantasy doctors out there. You got to find the one that you trust the most.
Yeah, for sure. But all around, I like the team, and I love that bench, man. I heard N'Keal Harry's been good in practice. I think Preston Williams is out of the PUP. I live in Miami, so I've heard the boss a couple of seasons ago in training camp. He was doing like really nice, and hopefully he gets Michael Thomas back, man.
Yeah,
because he can have a target hogging machine here.
Yeah, Michael Thomas back, and he's in it for sure.
Yeah. For sure. I used to play, regarding the ankle injuries, I used to play soccer, and believe me, once you can come back from a sprain a few weeks, but it should be a couple of months until you really feel safe doing those cuts on your ankle.
Well, that's what happened last year. Basically, we aggravated it. He came back too soon, and that's what I'm worried more about this year. And this ankle injury, like the more I did research on it, it's the more I just wanted to stay away from Michael Thomas. I'm not drafting him anywhere. And I traded away. I traded him away, even if I had to give up a future pick with him to get another different type of wide receiver to keep my depth intact. Tyler, what were you gonna say?
No, that's pretty much it. I think when Michael Thomas does come back, if he comes back fully healthy, like I think he's in it. I think he's definitely a contender for the championship. Of course, as we mentioned, a lot of ifs, ands, and buts on this team, but I think it's got potential for sure.
All right. Now we come to the top 2 teams of the league. These 2 teams are stacked. They're so stacked that if you go to In-N-Out, they're gonna be 4-stack hamburgers, man. Like, serious, man. This team, like, and the thing is, it sucks. I was kind of stupid. I'll admit it. I went and traded for their first round pick too. I'm like, oh shit, no, they're not that good. And I probably should have looked more into it. But let's go ahead and break down the Seattle Seahawks. Down here. Let me tag him real quick. I know he wanted me to tag him. Okay, Ian Miller. Seattle Seahawks, this team is loaded. Let's go ahead. And it's young, too. That's what I like about it. He has Jonathan Taylor, Landry, Davis, Cole Kmet, Zach Moss, Gabriel Davis, Zach Wilson, Grady Jarrett, Joey Bosa, Greg Newsome, right? Yeah, Greg Newsome, Davis Gather, Barnett, DeMarcus Lawrence, okay, joke. AJ McLaren, Gus Edwards, Chuba Hubbard, or Shaba, whatever you want to say it. Ward, Owosu, Tutaki, Lattimore. Not even going to try to pronounce that name, but. And then he has. That's it. This is all his picks. He doesn't have. He basically went all in. He has his Robbie Trail's first round pick and his own pick. So he had 2 first round picks, but he traded all his other stuff away. This team's young. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's young, Cole Kmet's young, Zach Moss is young, Gabriel Davis is young, Zach Wilson's young. So this team built for 3 years out. But the thing is how much he put into the starting roster is still going to give him points. But his defense is solid too. But I think what gives him is he has depth too, like Gus Edwards, Chuba Hubbard, those guys. If Dobbin or McCaffrey go down, he's going to win it, with those 2 guys there. He has Marcus Lattimore. I mean, I like this team a lot. Jonathan Taylor, when Carson Wentz come back, I get it. Everybody kind of down on Taylor, but I still think he's a top 10 running back. But he has a very balanced roster, and he has Zach Wilson at quarterback. So Zach Wilson been doing good in camp and in not in camp, in preseason. I'm not a Zach Wilson believer, but he can prove me wrong, I'm pretty sure. And he can scramble too, Zach Wilson. So I can see him getting more projected points, and he plays for the Jets, but we don't know what's going to happen. Top team for sure. It's very balanced. It's deep, and that's what you look for in a league like this. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. We've seen some teams with like a lot of wow factor on them, like the Dalvin Cook and the Derrick Henry team. This one doesn't really have a lot of wow factor to it. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a big name, but you just go down this roster and just everyone on this team is like a solid producer. And that's something we haven't really seen in a lot of these other teams. I'm pretty big on Zach Moss too. I think he's going to kind of take over that job this year. Having those 2 running backs, I think will be huge. I like his wide receivers. I'm big on Cole Kmet as well. Zach Wilson, I was kind of the same way. Like I wasn't super in on Zach Wilson, but he's doing well. I wasn't out on him either. So he's kind of showing off right now. Defense is solid, and then the depth. I love the depth. Chuba Hubbard, Gus Edwards are big. I think AJ McLaren is going to be out for a while, so that might be a cut casualty on this team. But no, I really like this team, and those 2 picks. I'm not sure, but I feel like the other pick he has is the last team we have to talk about. And I was in some trade conversations with Ian earlier this week, and he was offering those 2 picks. And I looked at whose picks they were. I was like, nah, that's not as valuable as they really look there, in my opinion. But it's a really good team. I think he definitely has a really good shot, and he's easily in the top 5 from what I've seen here.
Yeah, that's the thing in this league. Like a first round pick might look like a first round pick, and you're like, oh my god. Yes. But then you think about it, that first round pick could be the next team first round pick we're going to talk about, and it's basically 32 picks in. So that makes it almost a second to mid-round, second round pick, like a regular draft. So it's not really a first round pick. If you want a first round pick, you want those top 16 first round picks,
Yeah, I mean, say these 2 picks are 30 and 32 or something like that. that's the third round. Then you're not even in the second round anymore. So
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. Like I did a trade the other day where I gave up like 4 second rounders, I believe, for a first round pick. But it's because I believe that first round pick is gonna be a top 10 first round pick. But that's just my opinion. I'm not talking shit on your team, buddy. You know. Yeah, Kaz, what do you think of this team? I mean, it's pretty loaded.
Yeah, I like the team, but I'm not sure I agree with that. The projections is putting in a top 2 team.
Yeah.
Maybe then I definitely don't know nothing about IDP. I know Bosa's gonna be awesome, but I don't know. I like the team. I think it's pretty nice, age wise and the depth of it. But I'm not sure this is a top. At least person, I know. At the end of the season, we'll see. But I'm not sure this is at least for me a top 2 team. I like the Jonathan Taylor. It's gonna be so solid on that RB position. But Zach Moss, I think he should be at least a 1A there. But Singletary showed up this preseason for what I've read. Yesterday had his second score of the preseason, and he's looking nice. So I think it was. Sorry,
yeah, you're right. I apologize. Because he actually bottom 10, top 10. He's not top 2. I apologize. Your team is top 2. You're a little giant, right? No,
Tampa.
Yeah. Okay. So we do apologize. I do apologize. He's not a top 10 team, but he is a top 10 team, but he's not up there like top 2.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, you're right. But yeah, I mean, it just looks very balanced. But keep going, Kaz. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's as you said. I love the balance of the team. If Gabriel Davis hits as he was flashing last year, that's going to be a huge win for him. And man, Corey Davis is looking fine. I think he got preseason yesterday. He only got like 6 targets, 7 targets, something like that, and he almost came down with all of them. Zach Wilson is looking pretty nice as well. He's looking really accurate, and I don't know. You never know in preseason because they're playing second and third stringers there, but he's looking nice, and that having that stack can come really big for him.
Yeah, so what it looks like, actually, that was the old ranking. He was top 2. Now in the new ranking, he must have made a lot of moves because they moved him quite a bit down.
The other teams came up. That's something
the other team
could
came
happen
up,
as well.
And his team went down. I'm trying to find it on the new ranking. But yeah, he went down to number 14. So yeah. No, I mean that's what happened. He made a lot of trades, but he went younger. I think this team built for 3-year window. If Jonathan Taylor hit, if Zach Moss hit, Cole Kmet, Gabriel Davis, Zach Wilson, those are some pretty good foundation. Yike, I don't know with those 2 first-round picks if they're really going to help him build more, but we'll see. The top 2. Let me break this down. The top 5 teams are the next team we're going to talk about. The football team. The Little Giants, congratulations, payroll dirt. The Atlanta Falcons, the Tennessee Titans, Jake, the Chicago Bears, JB Show, and then Kaz's team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, California 49ers, the Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, and the Cleveland Browns. The Chiefs was actually the Chiefs made a jump from the last podcast. Those are the top 10 teams. I think one team we didn't talk about, but I'll break it down really quick, because it's the Charm City Ravens. No, we talked about it in the last podcast. We're good. Yeah, I think this is the last team we're going to break down. This team's pretty solid. There's a player that hasn't been talked about in this whole podcast series, and he's basically the best player in the league for fantasy. It's Christian McCaffrey. He's on this team, the Washington football team. Let's find him. AFC West. They're NFC, huh? Okay. Wow. Okay. You have Christian McCaffrey, Julio Jones, Tyler Lockett, Logan Thomas, DJ Sharp, James Robinson, Kirk Cousins, Cameron Jordan, Khalil Mack, Landon Collins, Corey Littleton, Eric Wilson, Von Miller, Adrian Phillips, I believe. And then his bench is Leonard Fournette, Justin Jackson, Benny Snell, Michael Carter, Emmanuel Sanders, Nicholas Morrow, Jay Reed, Doyle, Wilson, Quentin Williams. And he doesn't have any of his picks until 2024. So he went all in, and it makes sense. When you draft Christian McCaffrey, you're pretty much in contention. I haven't seen any of my rankings in redraft dynasty. Like basically, when we draft our team, whoever has CMC has that high threshold, like locked in contending team. Unless you suck so bad at drafting, I mean, bad. But this team is loaded with starting players that you would want to start on your regular fantasy team. Might be able to put it on a little older side with Julio Jones, maybe Logan Thomas. I think Logan's like 30. Kirk Cousins, 33. But he's definitely the number one team. He's the best team. He basically, you got to knock me off, And he has a very solid defense. I know he got Khalil Mack for like a cheap, ridiculous price. Cameron Jordan, very good defense. And then he had depth at running on his bench. Michael Carter Williams. Everybody would love to have Michael Carter Williams, on their team. Michael Carter, Leonard Fournette, like two running backs that would be really good running backs on anybody's roster in a 32-team league. And then he had Morrow. I like Morrow. Very deep team. Like this guy basically said, "I'm going all in. This is my team for the next 3 years." I love this team, championship team. I believe it's going to be in the championship if he stays healthy, obviously, but we can't say that with everybody, right? But Tyler, what do you think of the team?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, and yeah, this was the one that someone was trying to give me their first round pick. Well, that doesn't do anything for me, thanks though. But I mean, looking at you mentioned Christian McCaffrey has such huge upside, and he pretty much scores like a quarterback would in here. I look back 2 years ago in this scoring, he only had 3 games under 20 points in 2019. One of those was single digits. One of them was 19 points. I'm like, all right, so this dude's just consistently putting up points here. And then he did something that I feel like I always go into drafts and want to do is like just take the value. Doesn't matter age or whatever. Just let's build a win now team. He did that with Julio and Tyler Lockett. He got huge value there. Logan Thomas as well. He's older, but he just came off a top 3 tight end season. I mean, I love his offense. He's got really good running back depth, and that's something that's going to be really valuable in a league like this because you can, if even more of these players hit, then that's just more trade value that you can trade someone else and get a position that you actually potentially need. But I like Michael Carter a lot on his bench. His defense is really good. Love that he's got the good D-line play. Landon Collins is a beast as a DB. And then Justin Reed, I think, was a huge get for him too. He's been quietly good at DB, racking up like 80 tackles last season. Just sitting on his bench. Quentin Williams on IR right now too. Like this team's really deep. He's set up to compete. He's got the wow factor. He's got the depth. There's no one on that starting roster that I'm like, I don't love that. We're looking at Marvin Jones was kind of that threshold earlier. That was like the best one that I saw. That was like your weakest link, and this one's James Robinson. I'm like, all right, like wow. I love having that.
Dude, this team, like, if you're gonna play them, you might as well not even look at the score at the end of the week.
Right.
I see this team scoring 200 points, and that's of course all the points together with all the players because it's like almost like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 starters. So if they average out to, let's say, 11 points, he's 12 points, he's going to score 200 almost every week, or like 180 at least. Mm-hmm. But the ceiling of this team is just incredible. I mean, I commend him for it, and I know he made a bunch of trades because he got James Robinson and other players, Kirk Cousins. I mean, this team is just built to win now. And that's what you want to do when you draft Christian McCaffrey in Dynasty. You want to build a team to win now. I mean, you don't want to build a young team because by the time your young team is performing, that Christian McCaffrey, he's looking out to be like basically off the quest, you know.
Mhm.
But dude, this is an incredible team. I commend you for it. Good luck. You have no picks though, so you better. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, when you have this right here, this depth, it's incredible too. On top of all of this, but that does it for this show. Guys, Kaz, I can't appreciate you anymore. I mean, like, you came on both shows. You stuck it out to the end, man. I'm gonna have you come on one of our shows on the Going for Two Network because I really honestly appreciate your wisdom, your just
Thanks, man.
analytic stuff and everything. Tyler, dude, thanks for coming on. I follow you on Twitter. I like your stuff. But go ahead and tell us where we can find you guys at, and if you guys have any content coming out, drop your stuff.
Chris, go ahead.
Tyler. Okay, thanks, man. Well, as said on last show, I'm not putting that much content out yet. I'm trying to learn from you guys as well. I appreciate all these invitations. My handle is, I think you can see it there, is at cast2687. And man, I've loved breaking down this team with you guys. It's been awesome. Something that I wanted to say at the end is, nobody please take it personally. We're just talking about projections, and at the end of at midpoint of the season, I'm going to look like a fool, and we'll probably all look like fools. So once we're at the midpoint, we could do another one to talk how the teams are doing, for sure. Thanks for your appreciation.
I'm going to look like a fool for sure because I'm not going to win. So
no, that's your strategy, man.
Yeah.
You're going to have by the end of the season, you're going to have 50% of the first round. And if you hit half of that, you're set for 4 years.
Tyler, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so at Twitter, I'm at Tyler_FF_, writing for King Fantasy Sports. So check out their website. I got a bunch of articles out there. Right now, I'm starting to already look ahead for next season, next rookies and everything like that. So keep an eye out. I definitely post a lot on Twitter. So give me a follow, and I'll be sure to interact with you guys.
No, Tyler's a great follow, everybody. I follow his work and everything. When he told me he wanted to come on, I got good. Hell, look at that. I got goosebumps right now. I got goosebumps. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, let's go. But Tyler, I really appreciate you hopping on. I'm going to leave this off like this. Next year, we're going to do the same thing. Break down everybody's team, see where it came from where it started to where it is now. I just want this league. Thank you, Chris, for making it. Kristen, I want this league to last a long time. I think this is very fun. 32 teams. I mean, years out. Hopefully, my team dominates for the next 6 to 10 years. But appreciate everybody that came on. I'll give a shout out to Kravis, Pay Dirt, Dante, Chris, Tyler, Jake. I think I'm missing one person. Let me think. I don't want to be that guy, that doesn't. Okay. Got you. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, all you guys, and if I miss you, I'm sorry. But I want to appreciate you guys for joining on. I'm pretty sure the league enjoyed this. And to be honest, we got great news from the boss upstairs. He told me that our last show got him one of the most views on YouTube for the podcast. I was like, what? A 32 team guys talking about it for 2 hours? He's like, no, it was great stuff. And you guys got a lot of click on the podcast too. And I'm like, awesome, And so that's why I wanted to do it again. But thank you very much, everybody. With that being said, take care. Good luck with your team. Mickey and Jay Bonnie, please stop trading. Just kidding. Peace out.
Keep trading.
Yeah, keep trading, but don't make your team good enough because I have your pick. But I'm Fantasy GDFF, Gerson Aguirre. You can find me on the Going for Two Network every Friday during the season for DFS season, and then on Sunday mornings for the DFS breakdown for 30 minutes. You guys take care. Have a great day. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace.